Well, we're excited to have Borgie back, and certainly our passing gets better, and our communication skills on defense get a lot better, and he looks good, he's in great shape. Probably the only thing he's a little off on, his conditioning's terrific, his shooting's back to normal, his defensive timing is the only thing that he just needs a little work with, because he hasn't done that at all, and everything he's done has been dummy work on offense, working on his moves, working on his conditioning. So the defense is the only thing that he would be behind the eight ball a little bit. Outside of that, he's ready to go, and we're excited about that. It's always a tough game, and certainly it's a big rivalry game that we enjoy. We have a lot of fun with this game. I know our players look forward to it every year, and we played them twice last year, and the only game that really has meant anything to me was last year for the first time on either side, because it cost us a chance to win a national championship, and that's when it's really more than just a game, because they won the championship and we didn't, and they deserve the credit for doing that.
You said this is a fun game, fun rivalry. What makes this such a fun rivalry, you think? Is it the passion?
I think the passion of the fans make it, it was really a great deal of fun playing at Memphis. The atmosphere was really exciting. And, we talked about the emotion of the other team being at home, and now we talked about the emotion of this game being at home. That, don't let it drain you, and just understand it's all about execution.
In your prediction, watching Kentucky, I don't know how many of the games you watched from the beginning to the end too.
Well, I think I watched a lot of tape on them in the last few days. I think they have dramatically improved in the last 2 weeks from where they were. I think that their passing has improved, their defense has improved, their offensive half-court execution. If you look at their statistics, they are every bit as strong as last year, although they're not as good as last year right now, because they don't have a Miller, they don't have a Jones, they don't have a Lamb, and the veterans they do have are just getting ingrained in the system like their freshmen are. So it just takes a little time, but this is a team that's formidable at every position, and come February, they're going to be a very difficult ball club to play against.
How much of that's been the improvement of Harold for them?
Well, I don't know if it's an improvement of Harold. He's playing more. I can't tell you what he was, only John can answer that question. I couldn't answer that question.
But the way that you guys are turning people over, then on the flip side, you guys are taking care of the ball. Just how important is it to really put pressure on those guys?
Well, in order to put pressure, you have to shoot a good percentage, and very few teams shoot a good percentage against their defense. So it's a catch-22. We obviously turned them over a lot at their place last year, and they killed us on the backboard. So, you can't let a team dominate you on the backboard like that.
Is it a player or players that make their defense effective, or is it just their style? Or?
Well, Anthony Davis and Nerlens Noel help a great deal. And Nerlens, he not only block shots with both hands, but he's an excellent steal guy. He reaches in the post and does a very good job of slapping the ball away. He's very good at anticipating the pass to the post as well as to the high post, and shoots the gap for steals. He blocks shots with both hands. He's I know him very well because I saw him play in high school about 40 times, and he's a very gifted athlete.
As much as people attach to this game outside of the program, how do you keep it fun and not high pressure?
It's always been fun because I've been able to laugh at the people surrounding me. When I was at Kentucky, I would always laugh at Mr. Bill and Marta, my assistant, how uptight they got, and I would always laugh at it. And we joked about it constantly, and I would tell Mr. Bill, have a triple shot of Mr. Bourbon. Bill's going to be a tough one tonight. And same thing, Marta, they got in such a frame of mind. I've always been able to laugh both sides at it and have fun with the game, because if you don't have fun with it, it's not exciting for the coaches and the players. Like I told some of Kareem, I said, you're going to love the atmosphere. It's awesome. And, just let him understand this is not just a typical game, this is a special game.
Do you think your players carry on that attitude?
They did. The only exceptions to that rule were when I had the first group at Kentucky, of Pelfrey, Feldhouse, and Hanson, and that group. They got uptight like Mr. Bill and Marta would get uptight. They took it much more serious than the players took it. But these players are not, except for Tim Henderson, they're not from Kentucky. So.
On the same token, you got like Peyton Sieb, who's a senior who has not beaten Kentucky, so does it add a little more juice for him, you think, Rich?
You know, they're going to want to. I think what we all misconstrue about the game of sports, and I always hear it, it's mostly in gambling connotations. You know, this team really needs it. They've lost 3 in a row, or they're coming off a short week. I hear these terms of football from these people, I just laugh. Because really, when it comes down to it, it's all about execution. You know, it really is about execution. And the emotional part wears off, and sometimes emotion is a killer, and it drains you. And you got to be very careful in this type of game that it doesn't. We talked about that in the Memphis game. Look, just hang in there. The emotion will get to them and drain them at a certain point if you're too emotional. And so, you know, with Peyton, he understands it's about execution. He's not going to try any harder because he hasn't beaten Kentucky. You know, I think that's the misconception of all the things that are said. You know, that's why if you listen to all those phrases, that's why, you know, gamblers are broke. Because it just makes no sense. It's all about execution.
How much of an advantage is it having players who played in this game versus Kentucky, which doesn't have any?
I don't think it's an advantage or a disadvantage. You know, I think they're executing very well right now. And if they come in and execute the way they've been doing, they're going to play a great game. We're executing very well, so you know, I expect a very good ball game.
You pleased with the way your kids handled the break that you gave?
Yeah. You know, we got a chance to work out Gorgie, and we got a chance to work out Peyton and Tim. They were local, so we worked the guys out during the break that were here. I texted everybody, I told them all, I want you to get a good, strong workout on Christmas Eve, take Christmas off, but I want everybody to text me and tell me what type of workout you had, and they all did a good job with that.
Why have you guys been still playing as well as you did when Corey was out?
Well, we wanted, you know, I said this before the season started, that we had to be ready early. Usually our teams aren't ready early. We had to be this year because, you know, we've already played Northern Iowa, Illinois State, Missouri, at Memphis, at Weston, Duke, and now Kentucky. So we knew schedule-wise we had to be ready earlier in the season. And we have been ready. All our guys have been ready executing it. But I think one of the real reasons why we've been ready is our backcourt has played extremely well early on. Where guys like Wayne and Shane haven't necessarily played well early on. And you know, now we have Gorgie back, we certainly improved a great deal.
Looking at the backcourt, how do you assess Kentucky's backcourt? And is this the first year in the last 4 years or so where maybe that is a real advantage for you in this game compared to other years?
I don't think it's an advantage because Mays is a 50th senior, and Ryan Harrell's got a good experience. I think that it's two really, really good backcourts. You know, I think the way they're playing now is much better than the way they were playing 2 weeks ago. You know, they weren't really playing with a point guard 2 weeks ago. They were just, it's a makeshift situation. So now I think they're playing much better.
I think the assumption in the community was that Gordy was going to play no matter what you were saying a couple weeks ago. In your own mind, was what you were saying sincere, or were you trying to couch it?
No, I was being very sincere. You know, Fred here made an interesting comment to me. He said, you know, Coach, I always ask the athlete, can you play? You know, the doctor's going to clear him to play, but Gorgie said, I can play against Western Kentucky. And Fred said, that's good, Gorgie. You're not going to because we don't have an appointment until after Christmas, but it's good that you feel you can play against Western because we were working him out. So that makes it a good year. And I said to him, you know, he's such a fun kid to talk to. I said, you want to start in this game? And he said, well, why not? That was his response. I said, okay, then we'll start you. He couldn't understand the question at all. He thought it was a foreign question to him.
Can you imagine playing this game without it?
Yeah, we could play the game without him. It'd still be a very good game. I mean, we played Duke without him. Duke's a pretty good team. Missouri's a pretty good team.
With him not having played in 6 weeks, will there be an adjustment on the court because he hasn't been around, because guys have sort of learned to play?
I've worked him really hard the last 8 to 10 days, really hard. And we were joking on my TV show. I said, you know, I tortured you for the last 7, 8 days. You're ready to go. And he said, make sure you say that word on the TV show. I said, that's not African torture. It's basketball. There's a lot of different. So don't try to get me to say that on my show.
In times past, you haven't necessarily been one to show your hand about who's playing or not playing coming off an injury. Why?
You know, I'll tell you why. I lead my meetings. There's 8 coaches. And it's being tweeted 10, 15 minutes what I say in that meeting. So I look under the tables to see where the bugs are, but I have 10 managers. They're going to tell somebody that, and within 1 hour of every practice we have, somebody is saying something about our practice. So unfortunately, there are no secrets. So it's, and the other thing is, you know, I've known John a long time. He's smart enough to know he's going to play. You know, so why, somebody asked me that question, you know, why wouldn't you? I said, do you think he's not going to prepare for Gordy? Come on. I said, he wasn't born yesterday.
Would there be an advantage not starting Gordy to figure out how the game is going to be called, what was called tightly foul situations, that kind of stuff?
You know, I do that to use Zach with Stephen Van Treese, but, you know, Gordy's family's come in from Africa. I'm to see him play. I'm not sure they would totally understand him coming in off the bench. This is probably once in a lifetime for them. So I sometimes would read a little bit more into it because I don't think they're going to bring Merrill off the bench, you know, to see how the game's going to be called.
You hear Kentucky uses win for resume builder and lost 4 straight.
That's a gambling connotation. And there's no such a thing as that being meaningful to whether the game is going to be won or lost. You know, they need the game so they're going to win. If that was the case, you'd all run to Las Vegas, and, you know, it just doesn't make sense. Those type of statements, and I don't mean to say that. My friend here, Nick from New York, has lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's why I'm kidding. He has no pants. It really is. It's a statement that just doesn't make any sense. But they need the game, and you know, there was some true statements made that I said back in a couple of Februarys that we have to win 7 out of 8 to make the NCAA tournament, because that was what we had to do. That's a real statement. So they don't need a rest. They're going to be an NCAA team. They're going to be a high seed. The SEC they're going to be one of the strongest teams in the SEC, Florida and Kentucky. So no, they don't need this game. Just make sure you tell John that.
You guys like a full court game. Kentucky would like to play that way. Do you see an up and down game?
See your crystal ball. I have no idea. I really don't. I can't tell you whether both teams will shoot a high percentage, it'll be a wide open game, or both teams will really clamp down on each other and shoot a low percentage. You know, one of the toughest things to figure out is rivalry games. You know, really it's difficult to tell who's going to, you know, sometimes guys step up that you don't expect. The one thing you'd like to see is you'd like to see both teams play great and play it and give their best performances rather than an ugly game.
How would you characterize the difference between the way this game is perceived by Kentucky fans and Louisville fans?
You know, the only difference I see in the game is every year I've played this game as the Kentucky coach, I would feel there were 3,000 to 5,000 Kentucky fans in Freedom Hall in the Yum Center. Blue all over the place. In Freedom Hall, there's no red. I mean, in the Rupp Arena, there's no red. So that's the only difference I see. They infiltrate our arena. We don't infiltrate their arena. You know, if a Kentucky fan gives their ticket away to a Louisville fan, they feel, whether they're Catholic, Christian, Jewish, that they go to hell. So it's different. Our people don't feel they go to hell. They give their ticket to somebody from Big Blue Nation.
Do you think they should feel that way?
Should they feel that way? I'm not sure. There's so many mixed marriages with Louisville people, you know, so many Louisville women marry Kentucky guys. You know, they're hardship marriages, but it happens.
Did you notice how many of them were in the Yum Center 2 years ago?
Especially in the lower arena. You know, we went around it. It really upset our AD, really bothered him. It didn't bother me because they get it everywhere. If there was a game in Italy, they'd be there. You know, it's part of their doctrine. They have to go.
Last season, during the championship game, you came out and you said that that Louisville fans should root for Kentucky. There were a lot of people that kind of were caught off guard by that. Has your relationship with John gotten better, do you think, through this? Or, I mean,
My relationship with him has always been pretty much the same. If we're not playing Kentucky, I root for Kentucky. I coached at Kentucky. They were nice enough to put my name to the rafters there, so I root for them all the time, and I wanted them to win the championship. And I was very happy. He's paid his dues. He's given a lot to time and energy to this game, and I'm glad he won the championship. But we want to beat them. They want to beat us. It was a well-played game. It was a great game. They were the better team. So I don't get into the bitterness of it. I don't denigrate Kentucky in any way. You know, I had an interesting conversation a few years ago with a preacher in this town, and he said to me, I said, you know, so many places, they really denigrate you, you know, when you go in there. And he said, don't you just turn the other cheek? I said, no, it wasn't about me as much. I can't believe what some of these people say. And he said, they will feel the wrath of God. And I said, what do you mean by that? He said, it's in the Bible. They will feel the wrath of God. I said, can you show me? He did point out,
right?
So all those people who denigrate each other and go after it, he promises me they're going to feel the wrath of God. And I said, could it be next month? He said, no, it'll happen down the road.
You guys have played great shot blockers before, particularly Peyton and Russ, but what is the message to them, because they get to the rim so well against a guy like Nerlens and Kentucky's other guys that block shots?
Well, Russ had an interesting statement, and I said, Russ, if you just drive in there like that, I'm telling you, he's going to block your shot. He does it with both hands. He said, well, I was going to dunk the ball. I said, I don't care if you're going to dunk the ball. You have to dish it once in a while because he's going to be there. And he says, well, just don't tell me he's going to block my shot. Say I need to dish it. So I just said, Russ, you have to dish it. I just immediately said, Coach, I got to be in the right frame of mind. Please don't say it that way. So this is what I'm dealing with. Now, Peyton, who's semi-normal, you can talk to him in an intelligent way and have an intelligent conversation. When you're speaking to a Martian, you got to.
Russ said his most used excuse with you on the radio show last night was, I thought I was open. Is that probably right?
Yeah,
That's the one
like
you're
I said, he's a Martian from a different planet, he's alien, and the rest keeps, oh, that young man is just incredible. You know, I haven't read Sports Illustrated since a long time ago, and Kenny faxed me the article, and I really enjoyed the article. I'm glad I didn't speak to those people because he captured Russ's essence about as well as any writer could capture Russ.
Is there a different feeling in the arena? I know the game's the same and the players know it, but I'm just saying when you walk in for the first time on the game day between the two, is there more of an energy in the building? Do you guys feel that?
For the Kentucky
Yeah.
Louisville? Oh yeah, without question. And I felt it at Memphis the other day. There's no question about it. The fans get there early. They're all excited. You know, they're dressed in, you know. But I said, look, 98% of the Kentucky fans are wonderful people. The 2% that denigrate others and make fun of others and speak negatively, you know, they'll get their due. Same thing with Louisville fans. You know, 98% of them are great fans, and the 2% that hold it against them and so on. You know, it's no use when you read about that in London with soccer. You know, the hooligans. You know, you read about that nonsense, but by and large, they're just great fans that want to see a great game, they have a good time, want their team to win, And that's, and like I said, there's only been one game played, and I've been here 20 years now, right? All right?
Here?
Not here,
Yes,
12
yes,
years.
between the two,
Yeah, 20 years. There's only one game that's really mattered a great deal where we were kind of devastated by it, and that was last year. So it is a fun game. I love the atmosphere in the arena. It's really a lot of fun to see everybody get so excited about it, and that's the way we take it. You know, you never worry about the game itself. You always worry about the game before or the game after. You know, you never worry about that game itself.
Rick, how important is the press and making things difficult on Garrow?
Like I said, it's what I have found in the past in playing them is you have to shoot a good enough percentage to get it on. And their defense, was difficult last year. We caused a lot of turnovers in Rupp last year, but it was because Russ made a lot of shots and we were able to get it on. And, so it's a matter of your field goal percentage sometimes dictates how good your pressure is.
How do you suspect the rotation will go with Jane coming back? Will it still be Steven? Will Montrez play some 5? Well, that's what I mean, Jane coming back. Will it be Montrez playing the 5 a little bit back up, or is he going back to 4?
I don't know. I'm not sure about that.
Is he good enough, though, that what you've seen when he's been out there
He
playing
is.
the
He
5?
has a tough time learning the man responsibilities at the 5 and the zone responsibilities at the 5. It's not the offense as much as it's the defense. He struggles a little bit with it, learning the 2 positions, because they are different. Even in the presses, they're a lot different. But he's definitely the most talented basketball player. Like if you were in the final 5 or 6 minutes of the game, yes, he would definitely be the guy you'd go to, because he's really rapidly improving, as well as Wayne.
Do you think this is the best rivalry in the sport?
Yeah, because we live with each other. I don't think a Duke woman would marry a North Carolina guy. And I don't think a North Carolina man would marry a Duke woman. I just think they wouldn't do that. We just intermarry all the time. It's hurt our society here. And for those of you who have married Kentucky women, you know what I'm talking about. I think it's the name of a song. It's a Kentucky woman. All right, guys.
All right.
You get some fun.
He was already done. What's that? I just typed this, but he was already up and out. Oh, yeah. Yeah.